All right, we're live. Welcome everyone to TableTalk, where we talk all things tabletop. I'm your host, the Bedluck Gamer, with my co-host Glue Boy,
Hello, it is I.
and it's been a while because last week was Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
and
I
it,
was I was at a football game.
yeah, I saw it.
I won 20
Also,
bucks from my dad because I made the very easy bet that the Seahawks would lose embarrassingly.
uh, hmm, Seahawks have been doing pretty good in recent years.
I mean, mm, I've seen otherwise and heard
What
otherwise
do
from
you
my dad.
mean?
My dad yells about it a lot. And then
Hmm.
also, it's hard to believe that when the first minute or two of like the first quarter, some guy goes for the ball, it touches his hands, and he full Looney Tunes like slips on dry grass, and then repeatedly in the first quarter was just butter hands dropping the ball everywhere.
I've been watching this season, to be fair.
No, I don't watch either. I was just there because the 49ers have been very good from everything I've heard. And I was like, well, I want an easy 20 bucks.
No,
And
49ers
also,
also do pretty well.
they are. And I wanted to enjoy it because what does everything need to be more fun? A little bit of gambling.
Fair.
Just a little bit.
But it's been it's it feels like it's been longer because I think we had one table talk before Thanksgiving and you were gone for like 2 table talks before then.
Yeah, it's been a weird space of it. Uh Thankfully
the
holidays are
holidays.
slowing down at the very least.
Yeah. Especially because, you know, the mountain passes when it starts snowing. It's like,
Because
am
it's
I gonna
snowing
go
literally right now.
am I gonna go see family for Christmas or not?
Yeah. Very thankful that for the first time my family is coming over to to my side of the mountains to hang out. Is
Yeah, actually,
very
I just
helpful.
had that with my mom. Came over for Thanksgiving, so that was very nice. Very nice, quiet Thanksgiving. We needed that. We needed that.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, so, uh, I mean, the last month has been crazy in general. The channel has gained, let's see, actually, I can almost guess about how much money we made on the channel this last month. Let's see. What have I been averaging recently? About 5-ish bucks a day. Maybe a little more than that. So yeah, I'll have made 388 before taxes this last month.
Hell yeah.
And we gained like 600 subs, 640 subs, I think, over the course of the remaster. So things have been crazy. I've now gotten some time to work on my Twitch stuff. I've added some sound alerts.
Ooh.
I have added, let's see here.
We'll have to actually turn the audio on the stream on.
Thank you, Coho Dressa. Where is alerts? No, not this one. Let's see. I also need to do new follows and stuff. I just want to get some more personal stuff for the channel. Here we go, extensions. My extensions. Sound alerts. Configure. Here we go. Why'd you not keep me in? Alright, now can I test this? Okay, I had to put the Owen Wilson wow in there. Oh, they're not on yet? Let's see here. Oh no, they should be on. So if you go to the channel on Discord, you should be able to see, or not on Discord, on Twitch. There should be a panel that opens up. What's that one?
Oh, yeah, sound alerts.
I want to.
Yeah, because I don't have any bits.
50 gold.
Oh, yeah, there's the bonk.
You found it. I'm glad you found it.
50 gold pieces.
The equivalent
50
of the
gold
fifth edition.
pieces.
I heard
The
50
same
gold.
as the standard potion in 5th edition.
Did you hear that one?
I did hear it.
We got 50 gold pieces.
I'm very
in.
happy you found it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it was in a table talk, right?
it wasn't table talk. It was in the healer table talk.
Yeah.
Not in the items table talk. It's very loud. Okay, I'll turn it down. I did actually turn it down earlier. I don't know why that didn't stick. Let's test it again.
50 gold pieces.
The equivalent
50
of the
gold
fifth edition.
pieces. The same as the standard
There we
potion
go.
in 5th edition.
One more time.
50 gold
There we go.
pieces.
The-
50
you hit
gold
the
pieces.
full rant there.
The same as the
Not just the
standard potion in
soundbite, the
5th
full-
edition.
The full yelling about it. Which, to
Yeah.
be fair, is worth, because it's so true.
It's very funny. That one's 500 bits too, so hopefully we won't hear that one a million times.
It shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be. I have some other kind of annoying ones, but they're shorter, like the Owen Wilson wow, and the whom, and emotional damage, which I might
course.
make that one a little bit more. I don't know.
Depends
And
on
then
how many people spam them.
yeah, and then I have 1,000 points for a bonk. It's a quick and easy one. I think that's a fair amount.
Yeah, just
There'll be
one.
some more, I'm sure, that we'll do on the channel at some point in the near future. But yeah, so we're adding some more stuff, and as well I'm looking into new thumbnails. So I've been a busy bee working. And speaking about working, I'm surprised my recent videos of just me doing various chats have been doing as well on the channel as they have been.
I've been noticing.
Because even my video
Like,
today has done better than honestly prior videos did on average. And it's on the subject that we're going to talk about today in a little bit.
The one I saw you post, and I was like, I should watch that because I watched the last one you did, and then I was like, I have some other stuff I gotta get done, stuff I gotta write, so I didn't get a chance to watch this one.
But they've been doing really well, and if I can just do this kind of video as part of my weekly meal, then I'll be pretty happy because they're pretty easy for me to do, and I can just talk about tabletop theory endlessly.
Yeah, I mean it's been fun. I gotta say I liked your negativity in tabletop video.
So I like
was
that
a
one
fun
too. Actually, I got some people who are just like, I actually really like this video. That was actually very informative. So
I thought it was a cool discussion, and a lot of it is just it was stuff that we've directly had conversations about on here, and then I was so fucking funny. I scroll down, I see a tabletop, like a decent sized channel reply to it. I'm like, oh, it's neat. First reply is someone immediately proving him right, and that was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
yeah,
I adored that so much. Just like, yeah, people are just really quick to talk about as if their opinions are facts, and it's a little bad. Oh yeah, well you're just wrong about everything. It's because you're angry about it. Oh, okay. Damn.
right.
So fucking funny.
And you know, it's funny because actually right now is a really good time to be talking about general and tabletop, because I feel like general tabletop is going to be shifting here this next year,
I
which
hope so. I always hope that it just becomes a general hobby rather than like D&D and other stuff.
yeah, well, there's that for sure. But even just like I think it's just going to be a thing that people do more on like regularly. So we're gonna see. But
Yeah.
before we get into that as the subject of the conversation, any other like news, anything you want to start us off with today on your
I
end?
mean, it's still it's a little related to the idea of tabletop becoming a bigger thing. But I think it's still it's something I'm now really crushing on. Because I've been doing like vampire content. Like I've been making videos. I did have the really fun moment of today. I put out a video on the Banu Hakim clan, which are so
Mm-hmm.
cool. Objectively the coolest.
I
And then
watched it.
few hours later, Bloodlines 2 announces Banu Hakim as one of the playable clans. I was like, I gotta quickly change the title. Just real quick, try to get those clicks.
Yeah.
Uh, but I am currently working on a chronicle for my house, like a little house game for a bunch of people who don't play tabletop. I've kind of thought about it, or have like the loose interest kind of deal, and then have never had a good table for it. Don't have any real method of doing it, and just we've all been talking about as a house with like my three other roommates. Just we should all have something that we hang out more. And it's like, oh well, all right, tabletop. This has been stuff that you guys have been like loosely interested in. And then I'd rather die than run 5th edition D&D. So I was like, I've been obsessing over Vampire the Masquerade. What if we did that? And the session 0 is tonight.
Ooh. That's fun.
Uh,
I'm
yeah,
excited to see your
currently.
vampire content. It'll help me out because I've man, we've been doing vampire, but man, I've been so busy that like reading as an extracurricular is not anything I've had the capacity to do. Also, you introduced me to a wonderfully terrible game. Terrible for my
Oh,
life. It's a very good
yeah.
game.
For anybody listening, you should go pick up and play Against the Storm on Steam. It is great. It definitely won't hijack your life utterly and completely. It
Yeah,
is a
no, Alex and I
fantastic
were
time.
totally not playing this just before stream.
Yeah, we both hop in and it's like, what are you doing? I'm playing Against the Storm. Yeah, it is. It's very good.
But yeah. All right. Well, it was a good comment to start off with. People are looking elsewhere as they're finishing campaigns that started before the OGL and are checking other systems while waiting for new D&D. And yeah, so that actually brings up another interesting point that I didn't even think about is the people who were already in the game who wanted to finish it, finish the narrative before moving on, which is something I understand for sure.
Oh, I super understand.
So yeah, that's actually also a very good point. There's so tabletop is some in a place. I've been saying this for a while now, that tabletop's like getting ready to like grow, but that's not actually the what I'm saying today. But today I'm talking about tabletop's going to change, I think, as people view it, people's perspective on it. I think we're about to see over the course of this next year and maybe into the next year, either everything changes or everything kind of goes back to the status quo. And that's predominantly based on how the new D&D handles whatever they're doing. Like
Yeah.
new D&D 5e, because right, so the thing I mentioned in my video where this background was used, this background has a lot of fun systems in addition to D&D. It has the new like Avatar game that apparently has been really good. People have been saying.
I've heard fun things about it.
And of course the Cypher system and the Savage World. But the new D&D is supposed to be under their new gaming license. whatever that is supposed to be. Like that was what I heard, you know. And maybe they've changed on this or whatever, but the new whatever is coming out next is supposed to be under their what they were essentially trying to do with the OGL business before. Now they might change that, and they might just be like, "Not actually, we're not." And if it's still D&D 5e, I don't know how they could, you know, because like, what are they calling it? They would have to call it something different to make them legally distinct, so that they could claim different legal rights over it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But on the other hand, with just how it seems like a lot of their general business practices have been a little flip-floppy, if I'm going to be completely honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, never mind.
Yeah.
Because, like, it feels like I'm not fully brushed up on it, because hasn't, like, the 1D&D thing changed scope, like, from what they're telling people it is again? Because at first they're like, no, it's not a new edition, oh, and it's kind of like a new thing. I've been hearing just more talk about it, like they're changing more shit about it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very confusing in a lot of ways because I don't think even Wizards of the Coast knows what they want to do. I think they keep doing something and then Hasbro tells them to change it, and so they do something else, and then Hasbro tells them to change it again. And
it reads like that, yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out. I was listening to the recent Unearthed Arcana that they did on D&D Beyond or whatever. Legitimately, everything just went over my head because I'm so out of touch with, I think, the Unearthed Arcana, and the problem with just jumping into like a recent one is they refer to a lot of recent Unearthed Arcana when they're talking about some of the changes they're making, and so I'm just like, wait, what? I don't understand what's going on because it's referencing something that's like not a part of D&D 5e at the moment, is in another Unearthed Arcana. And some people have been saying, you know, they're happy with the changes, so that's good.
Someone has to be. All the changes I see are the ones, because I'm currently in a 5e game. One of the players is a lot more attentive to it. I think recently they added Zodiac was something I saw they did. The Jess keeps me up to date essentially, and then every time they send in like new material, especially class stuff, I'm reading through it and it's like, okay, so either they repackaged it, but nothing has changed. I was reading through the Bard stuff and it's like they're talking about they fixed Bard when there's like a slight adjustment to a level ability, when they didn't fix like some very key issues the Bard 5e class has, like the fact that the counter charm is absolutely fucking worthless. It does not work or come up ever. Or they're like, hey, you know these classes you guys enjoyed? We nerfed them. So they're taking the balance approach of, let's take the things you like and lower the play count of it. So many people are playing this, let's not elevate everything else. Let's lower these ones so the other classes are played. Which I hate. I hate that method of, like, game balance.
Yeah. But then, you know, then I hear the opposite. The way they're doing the playtest is awful. Yeah, that I think is universally agreed on. Is they just seem to be throwing stuff out. They're also like how they're doing things. Okay, you know what? Before this turns into bashing D&D the stream again.
We do that a lot.
Unintentionally, okay? I respect people who want to play D&D, okay? You want to play the game you like, go ahead. That's completely fine. Regardless, so who knows? If they try to do the legal shenanigans again, it's going to hurt them. So they might not do it. But what is going to be the big difference is if the changes fix the game or reflavor what it already has going on. If they make a really good edition of D&D 5e, they are in a really prime position to snatch back a lot of the people that left, you know, have left or are unsure about continuing with D&D. if they fail to make a better game in general, then we're going to see a a small exodus of people who are leaving D&D because they're waiting for the new version to see if it was good or not. And we're going to see a bunch of people who are going to be looking at other games. And
I hope so, yeah, because I can see definitely there is a universe where, because I think for them to make 5e good, they have to fundamentally alter the mechanics in place. They need to change it enough because there's just too many bits where they kind of force the GM to make the game function.
yeah,
Uh,
right.
I think all in honesty, if they just release more things, then people will who love D&D will be excited because like, oh my god, we're finally getting a bunch of new content. I feel like if they
Right.
could turn around a lot of genuine customer like just get a lot of customer goodwill if they just did another Tasha style book, another Xanathar book. If they just released like a big compendium of, hey guys, we made a bunch of new subclasses, bunch of new backgrounds, bunch of new stuff. Here you go. And then people are like, oh my god, they did it. D&D is fixed.
Yeah,
It's like
I can see
they're
that.
clapping. They clap because they see a dragon, they see an owl bear, they see all that stuff.
That
I don't know.
that hits a funny point I'm going to bring up in a
I
moment.
yes, I think, or if you're talking about the same thing, because
Are you
it
talking about
lives
the
in my
Mr.
head.
X comment?
It lives in my head rent free with how dumb that was.
Okay, I do want to acknowledge Narex Darog's comment here. It's bashing Wizard Hasbro more so than D&D itself. Some people
Yes,
can't tell the difference.
that's fair. I also, yeah, for audience
Because
here, all my criticism that I give is for the company, and I also say this as a man who is currently in a D&D campaign. I am literally playing 5e tomorrow night, so I say all this
and
from a
have
position of
been
enjoying a game.
for years.
Yes, it's because I play D&D because I enjoy the group and our GM does fantastic homebrew. That is the parts that keep me, not the core game because I think the core game's bad. So,
Uh so yeah, and in on top of that as well, a lot of the problems with D&D are what we're talking about are like the systems and how the game actually runs, and there's people who just disagree with us. One especially being Mr. X and his comment. Oh boy.
God.
Uh it's awful. It's really bad. Okay. So, oh god. Yeah, let me just look up the comment real quick. I'm sure
Yeah,
it
like the
is.
act to actually quote it. Because
Well,
I have
I'm just
the
gonna like show it on stream here.
yeah. I
Uh,
mean, it's straight up. It kind of provoked me to make a thread, and it got a little bit of traction. I was happy. There's one Twitter account in particular who I think is some really interesting Pathfinder 2e takes. He found it and laid out some pretty fun points. It was just me being frustrated with the key thing I see, where it's people being really upset over something where you're like, the problem is in your own head. This is so fixable. You can just do something yourself, a minor change, and you won't be upset anymore. And people just don't see that.
let's see here. Uh, 1 second. I'm reorganizing a file because I want to keep these in a better space. Okay, there's the first one. Oh no, technically there's he had he made another post about it.
Oh, I might have seen it where he was talking about the blowback he was getting.
Probably. Unless he deleted his comment.
I hope not.
I hope not either. He did get a lot of blowback from every direction on this one. Whoa, wait. Okay, on 24th he said 2 days ago. Okay. I did find it. Okay. I skipped over it. All right. We got some fun stuff to talk about today. And I will say that I understand where he's coming from. Not that I agree.
understand the feeling that he's talking about.
Okay.
It's just a little dumb, but I understand.
All right. Let me bring this up in front and then change this real quick to stream. Here's the first one. All right. So, Here we go. So here's the first. Oh, is it that button? It is that button. All right. Here's the first quote. Right. So this was in referring to the Polygon title of Pathfinder stripping every last trace of D&D from their new rulebooks, even owlbears. Mr. X said, "This honestly is such a bummer. No drow, no owlbears, no magic schools. And so much of the fantasy we have come to know and love is gone. I always enjoyed that Pathfinder felt comfortable and relatable to me and made it easier to understand and get into the world. Very sad." So this particular message here has been all the memories.
Yeah. I remember.
This particular message here got super clowned on. It was requoted 60 times, and he has 157 comments. Probably one of his most like interacted with tweets ever. I'm pretty sure.
Wouldn't be surprised. Or if anything, just another take he had before went viral. But it's a very interesting take. Like, to say it the least. I also was like, I want to say something, but I feel like I'd be a little mean. I'm just gonna not. I imagine we're gonna talk about it on TableTalk.
But yeah. So this comment is silly because it's like, I'm sad that a game is not more like my game. It's like, if you like D&D so much, just play D&D, right?
Yeah.
So. But then he would say, yeah, but I also like Pathfinder. I just like that it was more relatable, whatever. It's just like, so what? Do you hate shooters if they don't all have Master Chief in them?
It's the point. Yeah, it's the point itself is weird. I get being like, I like that there's some elements of crossover where I can vaguely point at something and be like, oh, I already know offhand what this is. Because there's a lot of spells that were like that, where I'm like, oh, I kind of roughly know how the spell works because I can do 5e, and then I read it, I'm like, okay, so that's how they changed it. I understand the crossover helps you learn a game. That is fair, but also, if the part that is keeping you in Pathfinder is the existence that drow are somewhere in the universe, I don't think you're into Pathfinder. Like, that, it sounds like you just want these weird little keystones of the same name, when in reality, that stuff can still be in there. Your DM could be like, they're still there. Or there's just, all they did was their drow are still in the game. They're just called something different and have a little bit of different lore. You can still call them that. It doesn't matter. You can still have Owlbear. Just use the old Owlbear stat block. Be like, hey guys, look, an Owlbear. And then Mr. Rex is happy, I guess. Because that's all he needed.
And here on the chat, there's a lot of people saying just use D&D lore with Pathfinder. It's funnier because what's even funnier is some people say this feels more like D&D than D&D does, because it much more relates to like 3.5-ish D&D. But yeah, regardless,
I don't play 3.5, but yeah,
you can just use whatever, right? And the thing is, right, Pathfinder is still just its own game. Like, yeah, sure, you can put D&D in it, but there's nothing wrong with Pathfinder just having its own lore, own world, own creatures, without taking from what D&D had.
better, in my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, I agree. And then this leads to his next posts 2 days after. 2 days ago, I posted about how bummed out I was that some of the legacy D&D stuff that I really enjoy were being removed from Pathfinder. And boy, did some people get upset. This feels like the old game console wars, but somehow dumber. I like the name Magic Missile, okay? So, this is dumb for a variety of reasons. One, I don't know how this relates to the old game console wars, because one of the points of the game console wars were that some games were exclusive at the time.
Exclusively some games were there. Then it was a debate of which game series do you think is better, and what exclusives do you prefer. It's like saying that you liked your old PlayStation 2 over Xbox because you put a big X on your PlayStation 2 or something, and you can't get into the PlayStation 3 because there's no X on it.
And then, in all caps, I like the name Magic Missile, okay? Like, so?
You can still call it that.
So dumb.
Yeah,
It's like playing D&D and you just refuse to call halflings hobbits. You're just like, I prefer the name hobbits, okay? It's like, sure, I guess, weirdo.
Cool, man. I guess you can do that, but because like I know what you mean. It's like, I don't know, if someone rolled up to the table and they're like, all right, I have Magic Missile, and then someone was like, here's the remaster name.
Barrage.
And they're like, it's potato. And then most normal people be like, yeah, fair enough. So the same way I imagine most tables are talking about it when it comes to flat-footed or off guard. I imagine most people are using it interchangeably because you know what they mean.
Yeah.
And it's such a minor fucking thing. If they're like, it's not called Magic Missile anymore. Yeah, I just kind of like the name. It just feels better to say. And then people are like, okay, whatever. And that's what it fixes. That's what's been hitting me. I had to like make a fucking vent thread about this because I keep reading bits where it's like, this game, there's nothing here for me anymore because they changed the name of something. It's like, you could just say otherwise. You run your own game. My brother in Christ, you made the campaign. You can just say something else. Because I also been reading a lot of posts, just digging through forum stuff for Vampire the Masquerade, because I want to find like fun, interesting mechanics or cool tips for like running a game like this. And it's a lot of discussion about how Vampire 5e is garbage, not because of the legitimate criticisms you could have over the edition change, because there are some. They took away a lot of unique things from the clans. That's annoying. What isn't is you being like, I think this game is garbage because they introduced the Sabbat War in the Middle East, or that the internet is outlawed in Camarilla society. And it's like, okay, just say something different then. That's what I'm doing. I'm changing the lore a little bit to fit my story. And it was such an easy change. It took me less than 10 seconds to make that decision. And then come up with a fun way to implement it. Like, for example, I found a fun way to introduce broader World of Darkness lore and allow my players in a Camarilla campaign to use cell phones because of the fun little thing known as ShrekNet that was shut down a long time ago. I found a new way to introduce it to the campaign while introducing some Mage the Ascension concepts.
Yeah. Oh no, I like it because it definitely shows how stringent the Camarilla can be, and that's kind of
I see
the point.
Yeah, I see it on both hands. I think that there's a fair reason to do it, especially with the fact my players are brand new to the world. I just personally think that I want to give them cell phones. I want them to have an extra little tool. I think it'll help them connect to the game a lot more with the idea of you're a person with a cell phone, like in real life.
I mean,
it also
use the internet. You just can't like
talk
to other
you can't
people.
communicate to other kindred at all. I just want them to be able to like text each other, be able to split up a little easier or communicate. That, and I have a character that I want to introduce that is a Technocrat. And I think that I found a fun little solution to introduce broader World of Darkness stuff. And I was like, this is a cool thing of the technocracy, specifically this one guy, as a method to keep Seattle a little more locked down from reality deviants. instead of ShrekNet, he came up with the next edition of SK Wireless, which is a mobile provider that is magically protected. But it is costly to have, and so the players can now take actions in some mage concept, because I really like Mage the Ascension.
It's also pretty goofy, yeah.
It's goofy and fun. I am really much in the line of, I think the funner world of darkness is when you have other bits from the game show up. But
Yeah,
anyways,
true.
off topic. Mr. Rex's point was stupid.
Yeah,
it was a dumb point.
It's just it's just like Pathfinder is not supposed to be D&D's little brother. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they're not supposed to be the same game, like, really much anymore. In fact, when they were making second edition, they only mostly implemented a lot of the same stuff just because they figured that their player base would be more upset if they didn't. And now here they are, completely removing many of the core things that players apparently many of the sacred cows, you know, that they praise, like alignments and stuff like that. So it's fascinating how, and again, so this was my point when I made the Mr. Rex video, right? Mr. Rex has reach. People see his content, his tweets, his videos. When he has a really dog shit idea about something, especially related to Pathfinder, you know what? It comes out, people see it, and it has actual repercussions in the field. Like, that's something about content creators I absolutely get frustrated with. I can't say I hate, because I get it, but like, content creators need to understand that by garnering success, whether they were really trying to or not, they become influencers. And when that happens, when they do things, it influences people. So
people take you as an expert. Like, I imagine there are people who scrolled right past being like, that's a great point, Mr. Rex. I'm such a fan of your stuff, and then kept going. I'm glad that there's a lot of pushback, because I hope that people could see this and be like, oh, this, like, even his fans could be like, oh, this is just a dumb point. I don't know what he's going about this. Yeah. Like, that's the hope, that with enough pushback, because you kind of have to, with how many players come in, like, influencers, like, come in, like, yeah, this game was interesting. I just wish it was more like D&D. It was like, just have games be separate. It's okay. Just because they're general same vibe fantasy, they can be different games. No one comes into like Claymore or whatever being like, man, I wish it was more like D&D.
Right. It just, yeah. So, you know, and this was just kind of an aside, but a funny one in my opinion, just because it's an example of no matter what, no matter how the TTRPG scene changes, there's people who are going to still play D&D. And honestly, even if everything I predict comes true, it's still going to be D&D at the top.
100%.
Without a question.
I think it'll take a long ass time for that to change.
I'm glad they're removing alignment. As a player, you can still totally play fully as a certain alignment, but because it's not in the rules. Well, see, and that's also just an interpretation based on what people thought alignment meant. Alignment never was intentionally designed to prevent players from taking certain actions. I mean, it kind of was in the fact that your character could become evil, but the point of alignment was never, you can't do this action because you're lawful good. It's whatever your actions are dictate where on the alignment chart you land, and that may or may not have repercussions. If you play any D&D game or any game that utilizes alignment, you'll see your choices move your character, and sometimes you get unique choices based on what alignment you're currently in, but very rarely does it prevent you from actually doing anything. But regardless,
yeah, it's table specific, because I have definitely played at tables like that have run it like that, where they're like, actually your character's lawful good, you cannot do this. And it's like, well, that's annoying. That's not how alignment's meant to work. Because my always thing was, I'm down to get it removed. I'm also cool. Only because it was a mechanic I never touched because I thought it was pointless. I'll just roleplay. And I think it just, because it's written in the way it is, it's considered a rules as written thing rather than, I guess, an extra method to characterize your character. So I think its removal will all around be a benefit, but but like as we've said in our own discussions a lot, I do agree to your merits of alignment for people who use it in that way. But then also I sit back and I remember all the tables I sat at that used alignment the bad way. So it's table dependent.
It is like everything tabletop, and in the end, meh, it doesn't matter. I liked it because it introduced certain elements, and it was very interesting to explore narratively. But also, I've played plenty of games without an alignment system just fine. So
Yeah, exactly.
know,
Yeah, I'm not gonna mourn it.
right, exactly, and that's the thing is whatever. But so yeah, and what Bilbo Baggins here is like that. I've never ever argued that D&D was ever gonna fail completely and go away. Not once. I even when we were talking about the whale fall of D&D dying and giving life to the rest of the TTRPG space, that wasn't like saying they're just actually gonna go away. It's more of releasing the majority of players. But even then, like I've always known D&D was never gonna go anywhere, and it's not. And people like Mr. X are exactly the reason why it will never go away.
Yeah, I literally agree with alignment should be treated as a tool. It's not a rule. I like that.
Yeah.
That is a method.
And that's why I liked it, because
yeah.
it was a tool. But whatever. Anyway, not the point. So let's talk more about what else is happening in the TTRPG scene. So recently, very recently, Critical Role has fully released Candela Obscura for full play. Everyone's gonna do. Actually, even today, in an hour, like an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes, they're going to be doing their next episode of Candela Obscura, their next, I guess, season or whatever that they were going to do. And this is going to get a lot of people interested. Now, it's not going to affect pretty much the majority of the TTRPG community. I mean, even amongst, I think, Critical Role fans, it's going to be pretty hit or miss because it's a super rules-light game. It's a really well-designed rules-light game, actually. My video, I think you can watch it and completely understand how the game works, which doing that in just 50 minutes is pretty impressive for a game in general. And they're going to be playtesting soon Daggerheart. Actually, you can sign up to be in the playtest for Daggerheart. So I've done that. I've put my name in the hat, and hopefully I get to do some Daggerheart stuff. And either I'll be in the group of people who can talk about it and do whatever, or because I'm a content creator, I might get into a special group of NDA people who have other stuff.
Ooh,
who knows?
Hope so. I also need to read through it. I just check it out because you keep saying some really good shit about it.
It's really good.
I'm curious.
I feel like for a rules-light game, it's one of the most well laid out core books I've ever seen, and it has so much world building stuff. It's super easy to run because they give you 4 like little adventures that you can run in it.
Like in the core book?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. The part that intrigues me the most is you saying that, because we've had our discussions, like, rules light is not your preference. And so if you're talking some hot shit about a rules light, I'm like, well, I gotta see.
Yeah. And it does what I absolutely love, which is it has a world. Well, it's a city section because there's just one city really in the setting. But it has a city section, and each area is like it's got like a 1 or 2 paragraph blurb about it, and then it's got point of interests, people of interest, or whatever. It does exactly what Anima Beyond Fantasy did with their world book, which that was probably one of the best world books I've ever seen because the number of ideas and interesting things that came from just me reading the book was very, very, like, I used it all the time in our games.
Oh yeah, the world book rules. I've read through it. It's fantastic.
And Candela Obscura has that for its city and the organizations and everything. And also, it's a book filled with art, and I've not seen a single repeat piece of art in the entire book.
That's sick. Damn, I hope it can carry, because that sounds awesome.
It sounds really good. And so, depending on how well Candle Obscura does, we might have some more people checking out other games. And if they check out Candle Obscura, they might check out the Blades in the Dark, because they use very similar systems. And Blades in the Dark is also very similar. So if they check out Blades in the Dark, they might also check out the parent company, Evil Hat Productions, who made the Powered by the Apocalypse and have made a variety of other games like Monster of the Week. And the Fate series, I believe. So, or Fate or something else. I think it's Fate. But regardless, it's it could be an interesting trend of people checking out new TTRPGs, you know? And with Daggerheart being their more chunky version of a game, we'll see exactly how chunky it is. It hasn't appeared super chunky from what I've seen so far, but, you know, we'll see. We might get something that is a lot more hotly competitive anyway with D&D, as it's still taking a lot from the same general, like, high fantasy space, but obviously it's not going to be probably anything D&D related, so, you know, Mr. Rex will never play it.
No. Because he can't hear the word magic missile.
Yeah, magic missile and owlbears don't exist, so he's just not interested.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with Daggerheart coming out, Candle Obscura currently out, and in addition, we have Lancer has been steadily growing in its general audience. Like, people are more and more looking online for content. I know, as one of the few content providers of it, I get people talking about it all the time. And all this really, really good stuff for most other TTRPG spaces. In addition to just how well Pathfinder's been doing, because Pathfinder has been having record sales, like, all year. And they're coming out with some really good shit next year, you know? If D&D drops the ball, we could have a massive change. And even if they do, like what Alex mentioned earlier, which is they just release a bunch of extra content for people to mess around with, you know, we'll still get a lot of people who are generally interested in looking into other TTRPGs, even if D&D still remains as supreme as they currently have been.
I think, honestly, that's the bare minimum thing they can do to appease a lot of, like, D&D players. Because I feel like there's the large point is still how nothing fucking comes out if you're a D&D fan. Just nothing. You don't get any new content ever. But yeah, I would. Hey, I mean, I think obviously, I think we both share this opinion. I would love if D&D moved on to, like, D&D 6e or 1D&D turns out to be a legitimate fix for all the problems we have. That'd be great. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, as someone who is very sympathetic to the TTRPG community as a whole, I want D&D to be good for the people who love D&D. Plain and simple. I don't want D&D to succeed for other reasons, obviously, but I also don't want people who enjoy D&D to get shit on for no reason. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I feel similar.
It's a win-win in my book, because either they get what they want and I'm happy for them, or I get what I want and tabletop flourishes better. But even then, like, tabletop will still do good one way or the other. And I want to mention some comments here. So Thumb Ugly, greetings. Greetings all. I used to play D&D back in 3.5 like 20 years ago. I recently started playing Pathfinder 1e. I'm behind on the times, but having fun. Might try Starfinder. I'll look into Lancer. If you like strategic gameplay, Lancer is the game for you.
It's a fun mix, in my head, as someone who has experience with this. It's a fun mix of, like, a tabletop game and kind of a war game. It's got some war gamey strategy elements. It's very fun.
Yeah. So I think it's a really good game. And yeah, Starfinder, cool game. I don't know if you'd be interested in Starfinder 2. Starfinder 2 is gonna get their playtest next year.
Hey,
Around the
do
same
we know
time.
when?
What?
Do we know when next year?
Yeah. It's
Oh, cool.
they're releasing it for Gen Con.
Hype. Love to hear it.
Also mechs. Yeah, mechs are also just cool.
They can be.
Also, let's see here. I really want to see the mimic. The howl of the howl of the wild
God.
book is so sick.
It's
I'm very
so
excited.
cool. The swarm one.
And that's
that
just
one
of like
Yeah.
6 books they're releasing next year.
Exactly. That's the bit where it's like, being a Pathfinder fan rules. I love it.
We eat good. We eat good.
We
like
eat so
every
good.
year.
It's great. It's even better when you sit down and you, as our GM, design something, and then Paizo's like, no, I got you, Cam, and then makes it themselves.
Right.
It's
yeah.
like, oh fuck yeah, love to see it.
Exactly. I mean, like the undead animal companion, essentially, like I did it before it was cool. It's
happened 3 times, like 3 times that I can point to.
Yeah.
That Paizo has done that to you.
It just means that we're on the same wavelength, you know.
Which is good.
Yeah. It means I'm in tune with their system, and they're in tune with what people in their system want to play. Pretty easy. Let's see here. It'd be cool if eventually stuff like Candle Obscure become the entry point rather than an intimidating heavy system like D&D. I kind of agree. I don't think it's going to be Candle Obscura, though, because people love high fantasy. And while Candle Obscure is a super fascinating, really interesting game, people want to throw magic and you know, swing swords and all that kind of stuff. People like the combat aspect of it. So I don't know if it'll be Candle Obscura, but if they can do, if you can do a rules like Daggerheart might be the thing. If Daggerheart is a little bit simpler than D&D, but still with that little bit of crunch, that might be the game. But we'll have to see.
I can see it. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think it's people want the fantasy like genre for these games, because that's kind of the immediate thing. Is everyone is aware of fantasy stuff. Everyone has at least seen and enjoyed properties that are fantasy. So it's an easy thing to delve into from a game idea, and everyone's like, yeah, I would love to be like a cool wizard or like a rogue or something. That's kind of fun. I would love if a cool roguelite system became the starter drug of tabletop, because I think D&D is a bad one. I would
agree.
love a rules light to get people just used to like using a character sheet, playing games in character, like role playing a bit, dungeon delve, like the basic things that come across, and then they can hop ship to other games that are a little bit more complicated or have a little something different. I think it'd be better. Like, I would love that. I genuinely hope. I'm also very curious about Daggerheart. I've been keeping tabs on that.
Me too. Let's see here. Royal N says towards the beginning, love the new emote. Yes, we have new emotes on Twitch. If you're interested in on Twitch, we have some bit emotes. We also have a 1,000-point bonk. If you want, we're gonna be adding more stuff to the Twitch as time goes on. New thumbnails, new emotes as well. I'll be adding new emotes to the YouTube one as well. In fact, do I have Modron Pog? Unfortunately, it would only be people. No, I have bad luck here.
Yeah, you have Modron Pog on Twitch, yeah.
I have it on Twitch. I should bring it to D&D. I will do that. But we have Unlucky here, which I do need to make better. Honestly, it needs to be a little bit more clear. If you click it, oh, you can't click it. You can click it on Twitch, Sag. Yeah, Modron Pog. Love Modron Pog. Technically, it's Duodrome Pog, but you know, Modron Pog is better.
It sounds better.
Also, I don't know why Streamlabs has broken the emotes for YouTube. So I'll have to fix that as well. Or get another chat thing. I've been looking at because new dual chat things are coming out thanks to Twitch's new stuff. So I'll be looking into that as well. Let's see here. So I don't know if this was a question or if this is related to what we were talking to, but pre-made abilities and classes, D&D Pathfinder Fantasy Age versus custom abilities and classes like Open RPG, Mutants and Masterminds, ? So do you prefer pre-made abilities and classes, or do you prefer more of a custom build your own abilities and such kind of game?
Have we done many games that are build your own like abilities other than like
Technically,
Anima?
Anima's key system.
Okay, Anima's key system is a nightmare, but that's everything in Anima. Uh, I like pre-made stuff only because I think just people getting into it's a lot easier. I have some like I mentioned, I'm writing a VTM Chronicle, and I had to really make sure my players knew. 'Cause some of them were really melding against this. Like, vampire clans aren't classes. They mechanically only give you a couple things, and you can be a normal person and then have it like added on top to add extra depth. But had like set in some people's heads that this isn't like other games. So I can see it being an issue for newer people. Um, that and how good the mechanics are. Though I haven't played Mutants and Masterminds, but I know that's a game that Buddha really likes and talks
We
to
will
MC
end up
about.
playing it on the channel at some point.
I'm curious. He's talked some good shit on it.
I'm of the opinion porque no los dos. Like, why not both? You know?
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy. I think you can find good games in both spaces that are really good. I'm someone who doesn't mind crafting like their own abilities and such. I think that's a fun way of exploring a game and a system. But simultaneously, I think I agree with Alex to the point of that kind of stuff can be intimidating, and sometimes I just want people to get in and try a game. And so if I was just like, hey guys, here's a game, but you have to craft everything yourself, they'd be a little bit less excited to try it out.
Yeah.
So I think both are fun, and I think I've had fun in both types of games. But if I was to say like just a general, like even if it's just like a convenience thing, right? It's probably pre-made abilities. But I think I like both pretty equally. Yeah, they are just very different experiences, true. So let's see. I only really started playing a year ago. Before that, I played 2 D&D one-shots 8 to 10 years ago. Yeah, I mean, cool. You know, I'm glad you're joining the hobby. I'm glad you're seeming to have fun. Seems like you're in some pretty long games, and I mean, like, that's what this channel is for, right? I'm here for people who want to get into tabletop, because in the end, I'm never going to be as good of a channel when it comes to like a specific system, except for maybe Pathfinder. You know, if you want to be in D&D, you're gonna find another channel that gives you more D&D content. Hey, if you want to be in Candela Obscura, you're gonna probably watch another channel that talks more about Candela Obscura. I'll talk about Pathfinder and Lancer because those are like my favorite games currently, and whatever other games, you know, catch my fancy later. But I'm here as an entry point to talk about general tabletop, to get people interested, to get people hyped. That's also another thing, is bringing people in to hype people up about tabletop, because there's a lot of people in the tabletop space that know their shit, but are really bad at explaining why it should be exciting to the viewers.
True.
And that's something that I work on relentlessly. And I feel like I have a really good level of entertainment and the ability to convey very precisely why people should like something versus not. Even though that chafes against people who are much more number driven than I am. Because I'm like, check this out. This is really cool because it gives you more options. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't do more damage. It's like, yeah, but you get more options, which is fun. So, yeah.
That's a lot more fun.
2 Annihilation as a starting point was a great experience. Yeah. Were you playing Meat Grinder mode?
Ooh, yeah, it can be like that.
Because Meat Grinder mode, well, it's called Meat Grinder mode in the book. Because what Meat Grinder mode is, when you die, you die. There's no resurrection at all.
Oh yeah, because that's in that storyline. I mean, we did that at Adventures League.
Yep.
That was my first big D&D thing as well. I just ran it through Adventures League, which, for better or for worse, you know, at some points.
Thank you, Thumb. I appreciate that. I'm in the deep end now, too. I play less video games because I'm busy searching on Archive, and that's just reading my core books. I have so many ideas that will probably take decades to run out at this rate. Yeah, I mean, welcome to the TT. That's TTRPGs at all, because that's something that everyone I think suffers with to some degree. The number of times, number of times I've been talking to Alex about like an interesting thing in Pathfinder, and he's just like, "Ooh, that sounds like a lot of fun," and we haven't even touched like half of those ideas. And Alex
Nah.
makes the least number of characters that I know.
True. I don't do builds. I don't touch it. I don't like doing it. Builds bore me. So I usually only make characters when I'm directly going to be joining a game. Like it's for sure happening. So
Yeah, you still have builds.
I have concepts. I have a few characters that I will at some point like bring up. I do want to do the summoner martial artist. With like a ghost living in them. That sounds really fun.
A lot of summoner builds, actually.
Summoner's cool.
Summoner is really cool. You know, in all kinds of things, right? There's a lot when it comes to tabletop in general. And this is the thing, like, this is what we talk about. We talk about the fun stuff. We talk about the crazy things that happen. I mean, man, we still need to get into Icon, which is by the same company that made Lancer. And
True. I know nothing about Icon.
I've been hearing lots of good things about Gunbat Banwa or something along those lines. And like, there's new stuff coming out. Daggerheart is really cool. Candela Obscura, I think, would actually be pretty cool for like a season of our live plays. Which, by the way, if you don't know already, we have live plays. You can go onto the channel and you can check out our live tab where you can see all of them are at. I do need to put I think our most recent season of Pathfinder into a playlist, so you can just watch that, or just add it to the current Pathfinder playlist for Riptide.
Mm-hmm.
But we're currently playing Vampire. Last season, before Pathfinder, we played a full season of Lancer. So if you're interested in Lancer, you can check out how it was actually played there as well. And after this season of Vampire, we'll do some more Pathfinder. And then after that, we're probably going to play Mutants and Masterminds. Probably. Oh no, I'm letting my friends pick after this current season, so.
I mean, there aren't many other ideas, like, of tabletop games I'm really itching to try, other than Candle Obscura, but, like, I feel like Buddha would die if we denied it. And also, could be cool. I've never done a tabletop, like, superhero thing. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah. Well, I know he also wants to play Legend of the Five Rings, so.
Oh, fair.
Oh, alright. See you, Thumb Ugly. Thanks for being here. But yeah, so, you know, tabletop's in a really good spot next year, because next year, supposedly, anyway, is when D&D is actually going to be releasing the next thing. Who knows? They're not saying... One D&D is no longer what they're calling it. D&D Next was technically D&D 5e. So, who knows?
Mm.
I don't know. All I know is that depending on how that goes, if they even release anything next year or not, will be when we'll start seeing the TTRPG like industry, I think, light a flame. Either a bunch of people are going to be trying out new systems and new companies are going to get more money, or it's really good and D&D is going to see a whole new wave of homebrew. Which, I mean, works out, I guess, for whoever enjoys D&D that way. Or some interesting things. Someone actually made it was DM Chromie said, you don't like someone building David Martinez from Cyberpunk Edgerunners and D&D instead of Cyberpunk Red Keck.
Yeah.
And it's like... So that's the thing, right, though? It depends, because I've heard not great things about Cyberpunk Red, actually.
I've heard mixed, that, like, it does some bits really well, and then some bits not. Like it's one of those like new editions of a game where you're like, yeah, there's some pros, but there's some cons that they left behind in the old system that are really cool. But I also know Cyberpunk 2020 is it's a time, not the greatest time, but it's a time.
So, honestly, if the thing you like, the thing you like has an official game, but it sucks, then yeah, why not do it in D&D if it's just more fun for you? You know. I don't have a problem with that necessarily, which is funny because it's something that we've said in the past of just try out the other games, but I think that's more talking about general genre rather than like a particular IP. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and honestly, my more thing that brushes against it is the fact that 5e builds are just kind of fucking boring because it's whatever your class is. Like, uh, my partner is really into Baldur's Gate 3 and was showing me some like fun build ideas, and a lot of them were like just the basic multi-class stuff that like you
Yeah.
see a lot if you're just super into 5e. And then they were like, "Oh, here's a fun I found this article: how to make guts from Berserk in 5e." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And they're like, "Yeah, so it's 3 levels of fighter, and then the rest is barbarian." I'm like, "Whoa, that's unheard of." It's like there's nothing interesting there. Like it's just you're a fighter, you get great weapon fighting, and then you go barbarian. It's like that's the depth of it, and it's like, man, Pathfinder's ruined me.
Yeah. Well, especially because like in D&D it's not very common, but you can sometimes find interesting like interactions with
Yeah, like
like how rules
sometimes.
are.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Pathfinder though, there's a lot of situations where you're just like, "Hey, so you want to play a shadow summoner character who just summons tons of shadowy entities and can do all kinds of really cool stuff because there's only one way in the game currently at level 1 to summon 2 creatures at once. It's by playing a witch.
Yeah, like that always is like that's super fun. I want to see that in motion.
I agree, Dead Phoenix. I hate it. I hate multi-class in most games because it always feels like I'm sacrificing something from my original idea. It's like
Sacrificing with such little benefit.
well, that's not true. D&D has shown how broken multi-classing is. And
Yeah.
Pathfinder First Edition, I guess, does it as well. But, like, it's like, I want to play a wizard, but I do want to have some, like, fun martial ability added in. And in D&D, since it's not so stat-driven as, like, Pathfinder tends to be, it's like, okay, I'm going to be a wizard, but then I'm going to add in some, like, fighter levels so that I can, have a little bit more stamina, get a little bit more HP, get some, like, become a battle master or whatever, and get some cool maneuvers, right? Oh, I'm now locked out of endgame wizard stuff, level 20 wizard stuff.
True. Yeah, that also hits me because it's like yeah, even then early game, late game both suck. You just have this kind of like golden part where it's like it's kind of operating well. And the only time I ever found super doing like multiclassing works is when you know for a fact the end game's kind of shit. Because I did a Bladesinger Paladin multiclass, and I did the Paladin that was in Tasha, the Plane Walker, like the Plane Defender Paladin, and then Wizard just enough to get the blade singing. And that was because late game Wizard wouldn't help me, and I'll be honest, the last few levels of that subclass for Paladin are dog shit. They're pretty lame. Another one is the fact that the last few levels of Bard and Warlock are kind of underwhelming. So that's why I think Bardlock does so well. But then on the other hand, you do any like martial class, multi-class, now you have to wait till usually like level 8 to get multi-attack.
Yep.
Which is stupid. I don't see why you can't just have that be a static, you get this at level 5 thing.
Yep. So, like, Pathfinders I think is the best. Because
I think so too.
you get your core class, and then you get some features, and some dumbed down features from other classes, You get a little bit of mixing that feels good and doesn't like, God, what's the word? I keep wanting to say impeach, but that's not the word. It
It doesn't feel like I'm fucking my character over.
Well, it doesn't feel like
delving into it.
It doesn't feel like the best way to play a wizard is to play like a wizard, but then you have to multi-class into like another class. Or the best way to play a fighter is to play a barbarian that multi-classes in the fighter. You know what I mean? Like each class has very much their own things that are untouchable to other classes, features that no one else can get access to, and then you can expand from that. So like a witch is always going to be a really good witch, and being a wizard doesn't feel like being a better witch now, which I think is great. Return tradition, bring back BAB, yeah. Base attack bonus. It's yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just like how Pathfinder 2nd Edition has done it. And I'm super excited for Starfinder 2nd Edition to see what they do.
Agreed. Because Pathfinder 2e is one of the few games where I'm actually very okay with it. Because I think, yeah, it feels like you get it feels justified. Like, it feels like, yeah, if I am dipping into another class or like style, it's not my focus. It's not my main skill set. It's going to make it feel like an amateur is trying to mimic a master. Like a full fighter could see a maneuver from someone who's not a fighter and then be like, here's the real version. It feels justified. And also, like, just with how Pathfinder's feat system works, a lot of times it's like, yeah, you know, this level is these feats, I can maybe pick this one, or delving into this can lead to this really cool rules interaction. It's like, that's the benefit. Is It just adds extra, I guess, customization for your character, because yeah, like Dead Phoenix says, you should have the ability to customize your class, but they can still do their own thing. You can play a full no multi-class class and it works fine, but then the ability to customize it is what makes it feel fun.
Well, and that's what makes archetypes even better, because they use essentially the same rule set, only they're just not as big in scope as you could potentially do. But even then, some archetypes just beat out straight multi-class classes. Like Shadowcaster is just really good if you're doing, especially bonus archetype rule, free archetype rule. But
which you should be.
Just the best way to play Pathfinder. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, I'm very excited for what Tabletop has in store over this next year. Even Pathfinder's getting a tons of. I'm gonna be really, really busy this next year, for better or worse. I'm going to be very tired a lot, because I'm gonna cover Player Core 2 the same way Player Core 1. I'm gonna be doing a few bits on the Monster Core that comes out, predominantly talking about the dragons. I'm definitely gonna look into the new archetypes from How the Wild. I'm actually in a really weird spot, actually, currently with content creation. I got a little bit of content creation paralysis when it comes to Pathfinder, because right now, if I do more archetypes, I don't know if I'm gonna have to do these are all the changes to these archetype videos later.
I don't think you should go that far.
Which is why it's hard for me to like want to do so, because I do know some of the core ones are getting redone in the Player Core, and I've done a fair number of them, but there's still a fair number remaining on my list to do. In fact, I don't even know if I get to them if I was still doing them. But there's a lot from other modules and all kinds of stuff that I just don't know if it's going to get like an errata or something. Like, I'm kind of kicking myself now for doing Hell Knights, because Hell Knights are going to get completely reworked because they were very alignment based.
True. That's so true.
So, like, now I have to make all changes to Hell Knights video, essentially, when it comes out. I just don't want to make content that's going to outdate in 6 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
So it's just like, what do I make now? I'm going to be making, not this week, because I want to give myself a little bit more of a break before getting into deeper content again, especially because I did the remaster for the Ancestries earlier this week. That sucked. Not gonna lie. Like, going back to that heavy, like, research and video editing style, I was very unhappy in that video. It kind of came across. in that video as well. I kind of felt very done with it. I even made an apology thread because of how I acted in that video.
Oof. I saw the apology thread and I was like, oh damn. And I
That was a
saw the
great time to
comments
make.
of that video being like very supportive.
Well, I don't completely agree, Bilbo, because there's definitely a lot of Pathfinder stuff to be made. Like, I will be doing builds again. I've got a witch build coming up, the Master of Shadows build coming up with shadows again. Maybe I won't use shadows. Maybe I'll do something else. The Shadowcaster Archetype dedication is so good. But something along those lines. I'm gonna do a witch build, especially if the new witch out. And I might do a revision of why this class is awesome for the new classes now that things have changed, because it has for witch, for instance. And I might do some shorts. Like, I think I might change them and do some shorts on like why this class is awesome instead, rather than like a full video. I feel like that would do generally better, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of other things to definitely talk about. But yeah, I've just been a little bit of a paralysis because it's just like there's a lot of content. Like my main content on the channel for the longest time was doing the Pathfinder like archetype, because no one else was doing videos on it, and it helped a lot of people out. Path Builder and Archive of Nethys are not updated yet. Soon though, yeah, they're very soon. Actually, Archive of Nethys should be done here shortly. They said they're
I
gonna be
think
done by the end of
Path
the month.
Builder. I heard somewhere that Path Builder got its beta out, so I imagine it should be
Yeah.
done soon too. I think it's in our Discord.
I'll have to double check what's happening with Archive and Nethys. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff out there that's going to be coming out that is going to make people interested. I know when the Archive and Nethys thing updates, a lot of people are going to be looking at content, so it's important to keep the content on Pathfinder coming out. It's also just my main channel growth is based on Pathfinder. Whether I like it or not, that's just the case. But one of the things, like, there's other things. I've been very surprised recently that my general like talks on various tabletop subjects, like my recent video, the prevailing negativity in the TTRPG scene, has done very well, which is very surprising. Like, before the remaster, a lot of my videos, unless it's like a build or something, did like 300 views in a day, give or take. Most of these new videos have been getting close to 1,000 in a day, which is over a 300% increase.
Yeah, it's a nice little snowball.
Or 200% increase, technically. But yeah.
Yeah, it's also it's nice seeing a bunch of people coming around and just genuinely contributing. That's always feels like a good marker for like a solid video, is when people just come in and then give their thoughts, talk about it, like debate it. From what I've seen, no one's been a big shithead.
No, yeah, surprisingly, my video talking about the negativity in the TTRPG space was not very negative in the comments. It was very surprising.
I was too.
But yeah, the channel has been we've had some low sub days for sure, but we've been doing pretty good overall. My goal is to get over to 4,250 by the end of the year, so that when I start out next year, I can hit 5K in like a month or two, give or take. I think we're very much likely to hit that, but I'm not super worried. My goal for the channel is to hit 10K next year, and with the sheer amount of hell I'm gonna go through with all of Pathfinder's releases, I think we're fine. I think we're gonna get there pretty easy. Hey Bilbo, no worries. The only thing that I want from y'all is to hear what you want and what you like in the space and what you like in my videos.
And just like being present, interacting, because little donos, paid subs, that's nice and all, but just doing this, being in chat, liking videos, doing that, that boosts your favorite creators' engagement in the algorithm. That gets
Yeah.
it thrown at more people. So yeah, like that is the best thing you can do for smaller creators and people you want to support and can't financially support. Just be present.
Yeah. And if you do have Twitch Prime and you're not currently using it, sub to the channel using your Twitch Prime. We'll take it. Because that's just Bezos money. So there's no reason not to spend it here if you're not spending it anywhere else.
Yeah, I know. I think you might have mentioned it in the Discord, Dead Phoenix. I was trying to see it on my phone if I could find it, but it didn't look like it came through on the mobile. If it's only on PC, or who knows.
No.
But,
They must have updated on Twitter or something because it says the plan is 2 weeks out.
Oh, okay.
Which is...
I was just gonna try to make a little wizard update for William to start working on that. See what anything. Just compare the two sheets as I go, basically.
Yeah. So we got a lot of growing to do next year, which I am very confident we're going to do. And hey, once I hit 10K, that's when I get a lot more opportunities. So that's like the big goal. And honestly, like even with just getting a 1,000 views a day from like content or whatever, like getting 1,000 views per day on like a video got the channel to like over $300, you know, which is enough to start adding things. Like there's definitely a lot more art I want to do for the channel, a lot more stuff I want to do to spruce the channel up, make it look nicer, and make our stuff look nicer, get emotes, get new sound alerts, get all kinds of stuff like that. I've been sharing videos on our Discord since another group is about to play a campaign we're currently playing. We're also switching to Foundry finally thanks to the sale. True, Foundry is fun, but Foundry is also a hassle sometimes.
If you know how Foundry works, it's great. If you're trying to get into it, you're going to struggle a little bit. But like the sheer ability to turn your VTT into more CRPG with some fun little stuff, directly clicking to attack on people. It's great.
Oh my god.
It's so fun.
So let me tell you about Kingmaker, right?
Oh yeah, because you've been doing that.
So
How's that
we've been
going?
playing Kingmaker, and they went all out for Kingmaker, right? So
oh shit!
Every time you open up a new map, it pre-generates all the monsters and everything like that. But if the monsters have loot, when they die, they don't leave the map, and when the battle ends, you can double-click them and you can open up their loot and click and drag it onto your character sheet.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that pretty swaggy? Yeah.
That's so cool.
You can even have little objects in the map, like treasure chests and stuff, that you can open up for the players to click and go through all the loot and everything like that. So
that's awesome. That's so cool.
Really cool, and they do all kinds of really cool stuff. Pathfinder really went into Foundry, which Pathfinder, like, D&D is missing out. D&D still has plenty of stuff on Foundry, obviously, but they're not investing as much as Pathfinder is, and I think Pathfinder is definitely taking the double share of, or the lion's share of Foundry when it comes to a lot of the really cool stuff that gets implemented. So Foundry's really, really good.
It's because they're making their own VTT. They got their, with 1D&D, they're doing their own big, like, VTT thing, running with Unreal Engine, so a large chunk of their player base can't run it. It's great. It's exactly what everyone wants.
Also true, Dead Phoenix on the party folder as well, because it just gathers all the information together.
That's so. How's the actual like kingdom management run?
We haven't gotten that.
How's that? Oh, okay.
Because that doesn't happen until the end of like the first chapter.
Makes sense. That like I want to hear about it when you get to that. I want to know how cool it is because I've heard mixed things on just that part in the actual module. So hoping maybe Foundry did some nice little uplifting for it. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What Here's a good question. What god do you think is gonna die? What do we have our money on?
Well, we know yours, so go ahead and say
Yeah.
it.
Mine, Nethys. I have a little theory that Archive of Nethys is gonna get a nice little upgrade and a rebrand, and they're gonna kill off Nethys. They
I
need to
don't
fix
think
their
it's gonna
servers a
happen.
little bit. I think it's gonna happen. I think you're just a hater. You know what? The TTRPG space is toxic. This is fucked up, Cam.
You disagree with me. You're
Yeah, it's not
attacking
cool.
everything I believe.
My way of fun isn't valid because you said the god won't die.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm telling you how to play TTRPGs by disagreeing. I really don't know. A part of me wants to say Torag because they've been doing a lot of things with dwarves lately, and that would be kind of huge, like a whole
That would be.
a whole like pantheon based on one of the ancestries just getting thrown up in arms. That does sound like a big thing, but I do think it's gonna be a more general god, like not a god of a very specific like ancestry or heritage or anything like that, but something more like loose.
Can't just be.
It will not be
a kind of
Sarenrae or
thing.
I will cry. Yeah, Sarenrae, you know, there's is like Zon Kuthon or there's like the combination of the two or whatever. I can't remember that they have in Starfinder. So possibility, I don't know. There's a lot of very interesting choices. I would say to me the most interesting one would be Torag, just because I feel Shaylin. That's right. Not Sarenrae.
Man,
No
I
worries. Yeah,
barely know Sarenrae.
our YouTube has a much bigger delay than Twitch does, so
It does.
and I cannot fix it. I've tried.
It's a little rough. You know, Sarenrae. Whenever I hear that, all I can think of is Critical Role, because I know
Yeah.
that was a thing, and
Which
I know it's a
might be for
Pathfinder
that
god
reason
originally.
too. Who knows?
Yeah, they got to separate from D&D. Ooh, yeah, it's getting a little harder to defend Sarenrae living.
Yeah. So I don't know. Torag's the one I would want the most, I feel like. Just because I feel like it would be the most interesting. Sarenrae being removed would be sad for the people who care, but makes sense. And I don't know.
If
there's
they
the whole
kill,
Zonkathon thing, so
if they kill Caden Kalen, I will cry.
I'll start the girl if I have to. Not even Brendan will stop me. But yeah, so I don't know. Good question though. We all don't know. I need to get Michael Sayer on chat at some point.
You should. I would love to. I wanna pick the brain of someone who works that high up in Paizo in the design.
Yeah. Jake from Wisdom Check recently talked to James Case, who is the other big head on the War of the Immortals book that's coming out.
Ooh.
So that's pretty cool. Definitely a great person to talk to. I honestly, anyone from Paizo, I would love to talk about. I definitely also need to talk to someone. Maybe Thurston, maybe if I can get some information on Starfinder second edition as well. But who knows? It's right now I'm kind of valuing going back to a sense of normalcy after the craziness of the remaster followed immediately by Thanksgiving. So
yeah, and trying to wrangle stuff like that in the month that is like the busiest is worse.
Yeah.
Like holiday stuff is it'll get in the way. So I know for me, I'm most likely gonna have to miss another table talk. However, not well, maybe. Um, I just I'm my family's celebrating Christmas a week early because it works better for everybody. Because a lot of us in just my general family have to work during Christmas, so we're
Yeah.
just doing it a week early. So I have no clue if they're coming over Thursday or Friday. But yeah, that'll pop up, and it's also those bits where you're just like, God damn, I want December to be over because I just don't. I want to go back to like just not having to run around different parts of the country.
Yeah, that's true. Always, uh, always really, really stressful. Even though it's supposed to be the time where you get to see family and all that. I will say something about December though. There's a lot of stuff coming out on December 8th.
True.
I
Yeah.
am so ridiculously busy. Rogue Trader comes out next
Yeah.
week. The new season for Path of Exile Affliction comes out, which I'm planning on actually getting into. Because I did play a fair amount of Path of Exile recently, and so I decided I want to get in on the next season. So there's that. There's like 2 other things coming out that I'm pretty sure are also coming out like on the 8th. So yeah, it's kind of a nightmare day of just like I gotta play Against the Storm as much as I can now. It's just so I have time to play other things next week. Next week, it's a week away. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put a lot more time into Rogue Trader, especially because Space Marine 2 got delayed. And so it was gonna be out in December, and it's delayed. I don't think there's a release date still, but it was just like, damn, no, I got this. I gotta run my game, and then we can do some co-op stuff.
Yes, co-op Rogue Trader. I'm so hyped for an Outcat game that's co-op. It's something we
Same.
wanted so badly before, and now we get to. So I definitely am all up for that. We never did enough Baldur's Gate.
It's true. I didn't have a lot of time to sit down for large chunks of bits. Should be good now, especially once it comes out in December and holiday stuff kind of gets in the way. Or just and then holiday stuff ends. I should have a lot more time. But then it's yeah, we got to figure out what party we want to run. I call Commissar. And then if we want to go Chaos or not. Do we want to go Evil?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be a psyker.
It could be fun to go Chaos Marauder style group game.
I just want Outcat game with Pathfinder 2 rolls. Yes.
Yeah, agreed.
Hopefully that's the next thing they're working on.
I hope so. I desperately hope so. Because I really like Wrath of the Righteous. My biggest issue was just like I don't know. Pathfinder 1
First
rules
edition
are weird.
gets a little rough, yeah.
It's weird. It never really clicks, and like a lot of the classes, they feel a little strange. My only other hope is that it's a good turn-based game because I cannot stand real-time CRPGs. I have no fun while playing them.
Well, I mean, you could do turn-based.
You can. It does slow your gameplay to a fucking crawl because of how many encounters you do.
Yeah.
There's so many. So for important ones, I turn on to turn-based. For just basic, just you walk down a hallway, there's 3 random enemy encounters. It's just I don't like the design of real-time stuff. I tried to play Pillars of Eternity. I can't play it. It's not fun. It feels like I'm just watching ants like jump at each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, a really smooth 2E experience in a CRPG would be the best.
Fucking game changing.
Yeah, that's true. And there was a question earlier about like, what was it? Also, how does killing gods even work? Would they really remove one they just printed in the remaster? Yeah, totally. Why? The god section in a book is like a small paragraph. It's not anything huge. So like changing that one bit is nothing different than an errata. And it's the whole narrative point of the next part. So.
And then it does lead into some fun bits because I mean, I mean, 5e has that because I know, for example, I played a paladin a tier, and in 5e tiers, it's kind of unknown if he's alive or dead.
Yeah.
It's not fully set in stone, and it adds like extra story bits because you pick a god, and then it's like you learn, oh, lore wise, this god's dead, and it's like, how does your worship change when your god fucking dies? How does your church like pivot? What do you do? That could be a
I
really
mean,
fun character.
that's the premise of Pathfinder First Edition. They had the death of Eridan.
Yeah.
So, the human god of humans. So, yeah, they're definitely not opposed to doing that. And even though it's just even though, yeah, sure, it's in the core book, it's one small section of the book. Two, there's a lot of really cool gods and pantheons and other cool stuff you can do in their book, their religion book. So, and they're gonna come out with another religion book for the Animus and Exemplar. So, I'm very stoked for that book. They really need it. I feel like Divine is missing some flavor at the moment. Divine casting, though, I should say in general, if you go into domains and everything, it's really fun. It's actually really, really cool. Clerics in Pathfinder are probably some of the coolest clerics I've seen in any TTRPG.
Oh, that solves my problem, Dead Phoenix. Thanks. I'll have to do that.
I don't use Path Builder, so I don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, you often are more of a DM, anyways.
Not true. I play more Pathfinder than I run nowadays.
Well, nowadays, yeah, because we're in the season little break.
Well, yeah, but even then it's even because I'm in Kingmaker. So, and before that we were in our other game, Age of Ashes. So, I'm very stoked. Next year in general, like for we also like another thing that's very interesting that might be affecting the channel is a couple of our friends who are in our live plays are going to be kind of graduating from college sometime next year. And yeah. I know one of them is very earnest on moving up to our general area. So we might get more like in-person content. We might do some other things if the channel's generating more revenue. Might get a camera and do some other really cool content. So yeah, the channel is going to be very, very busy this next year. So if all you are here right now, I mean, I don't know if we can call the channel everyone here like on the base floor of the channel anymore, because 4,000 subs is actually like a pretty big milestone.
That's significant.
Yeah, but the channel will probably double in size sometime next year. Probably more than that. So stay tuned. Join the Discord. We got a lot of cool things. We also have the Lancer tournament thing coming up sometime. Maybe this month, maybe next month. We'll have to see. Depends on how long it takes me to like feel like things are getting back to normal. But with all the big books and Pathfinder coming out, with whatever Critical Role does for Daggerheart, with hell, even the D&D stuff, like I might do a little reporting on that. I don't know. I definitely think TTRPGs are going to be changing pretty big in the next year. Hell, I mean, if you didn't know, Moist Critical, Charlie, the Moist Man himself, is going to be running his own D&D show for a bit. Well, not running, but he's going to be in a game that, he's put a lot of production. They put an animation for it. They even got the members of Critical Role to come on, and because he was going to call it Critical Role from his brand of Critical, and that's
fun.
They had a skit with the Critical Role cast. They're like, hey, yeah, you got to change the name, which was a lot of fun. So
that's really fun.
So it's called Skill Check, which I think is pretty cool.
That's a good name. I know. I mean, also Ludwig's crew. They're setting up a D&D show as well.
Yeah, everyone is doing it. Tabletop are gonna get a lot more. it's not even it works. Live plays don't traditionally do really well as far as media, but then again, both Ludwig and Charlie have an esports team, and that also doesn't make a lot of money. So a lot of people are just doing it for the fact that they love TTRPGs, which
I mean,
is real cool.
it is cool. The I do know that apparently, because I'm not gonna watch it because I don't care about like actual plays, especially 5e actual plays. I don't care. Um, the like his audience is fucking clamoring for it. They're
Yeah,
excited, even
I'm
more
excited for it.
because on their podcast they got Zach Oyama from Dimension 20 on,
Ooh,
which is genuinely one of their funniest episodes of their podcast. It is hysterical, because Zach Oyama is such a funny guy, and they were talking about like just what it's like running a like a tabletop show, and it's for hearing it from like their side, the Dimension 20 side, talking about like
oh
just
fuck.
it is just insane how massive it
That
is.
was Ludwig or Charlie?
Ludwig.
Okay, I should go check that out. I'm very curious about that kind of stuff actually.
Yeah, they talk about it in the first half. They talk about some of the business stuff, and then it goes on into uh some goofier, dumber stuff. But
Yeah, and then 5K sub special, no. 10K maybe. Sub specials are something that one traditionally don't do well, unless you're bigger. But 10K I think might be significant enough. So here's the hard thing for me as well. I am planning to get married, not next year, but the year after, in June 2025. So we're saving up a bunch of money for that as well. So hopefully we'll be able to do some fun stuff. But that's something that we are like, that's a big thing being planned on our end. So it's there's so much I want to do. I just, when YouTube starts making more money, more stuff will start happening. It's as
yeah,
simple as that.
that's
And
that's the bit, that sad bit sometimes is like I can't afford to put more time into this.
yeah, well, it's not even afford to put more time. It's more just I can't afford more money to like buy art
Yeah.
or like I want to get a good camera actually. Like not necessarily for face cam stuff. I feel like the camera I have does well enough.
It's good for just at your desk stuff.
Yeah, you know. But like I want a camera for any in-person stuff, or some lav mics, so that
Yeah, a good live will help.
when we have a bunch of people over, we can have multiple people talking. I do want to get like an actually really good mic at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Same.
for no reason, like this works fine. I've got this setup tuned well enough that it works perfectly good. But when you're in audio design, you were just like, but listen how clean the sound is. It's just something that you gotta do.
Man, see, like my issue is like I just need more time to like do YouTube stuff because there's so many videos I want to make that I cannot dedicate it. Like my iceberg video series that I want to continue, I just have to time it because like I work like 5 days a week, and I'm busy in the mornings, and then usually then some days at night I then go on to do our stream stuff. So if I just had an extra day or two where I didn't have to work because YouTube was generating the income of those lost days at work, I'd be set.
Yeah,
That's my goal. I just need to get up to like I just want to get to the point where I can just not work one extra day.
yeah, yeah. So that's the thing, right? Like, I think anyone could do YouTube, but I think actually doing well on YouTube mostly boils down to luck. And it's not luck of people finding your content, even though that does play a big part of it. Like, if you make enough content, if you post regularly enough, you're going to succeed. It's just, you're going to find some level of success anyway. You're going to get to some decent size. Uh, for me, what I think is lucky that I think is going to help make the channel bigger than it potentially could have been is I have a partner who works at a pretty reasonably well-paying job, so I can dedicate all my time to YouTube, and I do. I like every day, just tons of stuff, whether it's replying to people in the comments, whether it's looking up stuff on Twitter, whether it's actually just making content. Like all the remaster stuff, I worked full-time hours producing all those remaster videos. And I'm lucky that I have a partner who's willing to support me and willing and back me up, you know, on this whole journey. Because honestly, like most big YouTubers that people know nowadays, like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, they were in college. They didn't have anything else going on. They weren't working a job, so they just did YouTube, and they had enough time to dedicate a bunch of time to it, and that's what got them there. You know, is you just need something that really lands in your favor, whether it's knowing a person, whether it's hitting a market at the really right time, which I'm hoping also for TTRPG stuff. You know, like it's super possible, but time is definitely the cost. And if you don't have the time to produce content, you have to be every spare minute interacting on social media or building a community or everything like that. Like our Discord, I'm so proud of our Discord, by the way. Our Discord's full of such cool people. We get people messaging all the time, builds all the time, memes coming all the time. There's so much going on. Like even in our Discord, we have a secret Discord chat group as well. That's very fun for people who you know, if you interact a bunch on the site, you'll eventually find it. And all kinds of stuff. And we are like 200 members plus at this point. Pretty good, pretty
Oh god,
sizable.
is it that high?
Yeah.
I knew it was like past 100 and it was like 200.
We're at like
Goddamn.
200 and we're almost at like 220 or something like that.
God damn.
Yeah. We've been doing good. You know, and it's just gonna keep getting bigger. Like the second we hit 10K, I predict our channel, our Discord will hit like 1,000 members.
I could definitely see that.
Like you'll just get a bunch of people hopping on, super interested in TTRPG stuff.
Also, you say that as we get multiple people who have joined within the span of like 20 minutes. Nope, actually, yeah, 12 minutes. Goddamn. I see y'all who've been in the chat then did that. Can't wait to see you like chat more in here.
I have also welcomed y'all.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, there we go. 225 members in the Discord. That's nice.
Yeah, right. Crazy. The Discord link, Thiago Nemisamento, is in the description on YouTube, or it's below on Twitch. You are on YouTube, so you just click the description there, and it'll roll down, and you can. Oh, why is? Oh, I still have Jake's link. That's funny. In the description there. No problem.
Yep, welcome to the Discord.
Yeah, welcome to the Discord. That's funny. That Jake's been getting a lot of free advertising, I guess. Oh, well. That's fine. He's a good guy. Oh, wait. Is he at 1,000 yet? I actually want to check. Wisdom check. Oh, I'm not subscribed on my official YouTube. No, very close though. 20 away. He's getting there. Should Pathfinder add a sidekick system optional rule? You know, I think that's a very interesting question. I think that's a very interesting, because they have hirelings, right? It's more dependent on what you want them to do, right? Because I could see an adaptation of the companion system turned into a sidekick, you know? A person who has abilities. Bring back the leadership feat.
Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about a different thing that's been on my head. Because I listened to like a D&D horror story thing, and they were talking about a really interesting thing this DM did to introduce a new player, which was this person who's like, I want to play D&D, but I'm really nervous about like role playing a person and like just the rules. So what they did is they're like, yeah, your character, you can like side or spectate, but you control this like exotic animal like your character's been turned into. So you have these minor abilities, like one or two things you can do in combat. You can role play around as like this little creature and be as into the game or as spectaty as you want for the session. So it feels like you have something you can do while you can sit there and get to know the system and like get to know the people at your table. I was like, that is a really cool mechanic. So that's what I thought you were talking about.
That
Which
is
is
a good
just
idea.
it's a great idea. It's so nice because I think tabletop should have a couple things like that are common practice to get new people comfortable with it because that's something I'm doing and I will be doing in literally an hour because session 0 with 3 people who have not really played much tabletop and have no experience role playing at a table, and then one player who I brought along just to help make a nice little safe space for everyone to role play because I know he's experienced with it.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I think that's very interesting. You talk about enough, Paizo will make it. You know.
Yeah,
They
well,
have
actually,
ears
in
everywhere.
reality, you need to make a rule about it, Cam. You need to
Yeah,
implement like that idea in one of your games, and then the Paizo drone that follows you will scutter back to their headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you did it in the privacy of your own home, they'll find out.
I mean, that's, you know, true. They'll know. So yeah, we got tons of fun stuff coming up. I'm so excited for this next year, honestly. It's gonna be, I think, a really big year for the channel. I can't in good conscience say it's gonna be the biggest year for the channel, because even if it is, it will mean the next year will be even bigger. So,
True.
like, here's what I like. Right, this year I made I'm hopefully gonna make 2.25, actually more than that, 2.5 thousand subs over the course of the year. You know, 2.5 thousand subs on my channel from the beginning of the year, more than doubled its size by the end of the year. But that was still 2.5 thousand. Next year, I'm anticipating a growth of 5,000 plus subs. You know what I mean? And that seems super feasible, you know?
I think so.
Yeah. Hell, everyone, like, even here in Table Talk, we've been growing a bit by bit every time.
We get more and more. We get more people that are sitting here, sitting longer in our chats, which is very fun. Because just having people talking about it, asking good questions, bringing up their perspective on points is helpful. It keeps the flow going on, and also the point of this is to chat with the tabletop community itself to talk about these subjects, see what people are thinking, but put our perspectives on.
Yeah, and you know, also we've been averaging more viewers. Like this particular session, we've had over 10 the entire time, which puts us at a really high number, honestly, as top streamers are concerned. So you know, bizarrely high number for streaming, actually. Even though you might look on YouTube and it might say like 8, we're dual streaming, obviously. So we have people on both YouTube and Twitch, and honestly, YouTubers have been kicking ass lately.
It has been like carrying. I think it's because all the extra viewers you've been getting with the remaster stuff.
Yeah,
That's where they know you from.
and honestly, been getting a lot more interactions on videos recently. Like I said, if the next core release goes this well, approximately, it's going to net over 1,000 views by it, or over 1,000 subs by itself, easy. And I mean, No Nets and the Rules Lawyer were averaging somewhere in the realm of like 14 plus K views per video, you know. So obviously, this channel has plenty of room to grow in this space. I feel like a lot of people are looking the content up. So yeah, we're channel's gonna get big. Y'all are gonna see more content, and it's not only gonna be Pathfinder. We're gonna be talking about all kinds of games. I definitely want to do more Lancer at some point because, man, Lancer's so good.
It's so
Lancer's
good.
really
It's such a good game. I want
Every
to
time
try
I
and
do
do
one
it.
of my Lancer videos, I'm just like, man, Lancer's so
I have a mech build I want to do. My mech called Schrodinger, which is it is hacker that is going really hard into the entropy Horus vibe.
yeah.
Like the whole this does this mech exist question. And then it's a really fun hacker build of really just burning mechs, just giving them a lot of heat, which I love that how heat damage works.
Yeah. Yeah, Bilbo, to be fair, we actually have a lot of European viewers. It's something that we see kind of frequently here. A lot of people
It's pretty
staying up.
often.
Yeah. So join their club of people who like our content enough to be up about now this hour. Europe is actually really huge for TTRPGs too. I'd love to fly over to Europe for some of the TTRPG stuff they do.
I found out recently that if you ever in your life want to go play Shadowrun, learn German.
Interesting.
Because Germany apparently has one of the the biggest Shadowrun scene and the absolute best like compendium like wiki stuff for Shadowrun is in German, and the only new books that have been published for Shadowrun are German translations and have not been published anywhere else. I was just like watching some lore videos from a guy I like who does some really good World of Darkness stuff, and I was like, oh, that's interesting because he lives in Germany and speaks German, so that's what he was bringing up as like an interesting point.
Fair. I mean, Anima was made in
Oh,
Spain
true. Yeah.
and is in Spanish, which
I
I
still get
know
Spanish
enough
viewers.
of.
I get Spanish viewers commenting on my shit.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I'm from Spain, and I agree. I'm like, cool, thank you.
Yeah. So, like I don't know. Like TTRPGs is good for the space, and like TTRPGs is something I've dedicated my life to. It's just something that I've always been super into. I've always been like really good at TTRPG stuff, and it's something I want to see flourish. And the best part is TTRPGs doing good means I'm doing good because I'm making a career around it. So, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, but I feel like if we get there, it'll be better for everyone, you know, because the bigger the channel gets, the more I have funds to get more people into TTRPGs, which makes more TTRPGs successful, Like, I can't imagine a better career path for me than this, because it does exactly what I would want to do, what I want to change in the world. But so if TTRPGs, if D&D flops next year, if Paizo keeps bringing out the bangers like they keep showing that they're going to, if Daggerheart comes out and is really good, then we're gonna be eating good here on the channel. Everyone's gonna be having a lot of fun.
Real good.
But we are hitting the end of stream, so that being the case, anything you want to leave us with, sir, before we head out?
Yeah, if for any reason you are getting into the lore side of some like tabletop stuff, that's my wheelhouse. Cam here does rules, I do lore. It's kind of like the current vibe. I largely do Warhammer 40k, so if you're interested in Warhammer stuff, that's my shit. That's my baby. I know it very well, and I make a lot of videos on it. And recently, I've started covering the World of Darkness, mainly starting out with Vampire the Masquerade, because that's my favorite game in the World of Darkness setting. So if you're interested in getting into that, like the lore side of Vampire, check my shit out. I just put out a video on the latest clan that was announced for Bloodlines 2, Clan Banu Hakim, who are very fucking cool. And as much as that game, I'm worried about it, doesn't look the greatest, I will be playing a Banu Hakim. Unless they announce La Sombra, as the next clan, which I doubt it. But yeah, that's my stuff. Just look up Glue Boy on YouTube. I'm also linked in Cam's channel, like his YouTube, little section called Friends. That's me. Just go check me out.
Yeah. Also, he's probably going to talk about Mage at some point in the future.
I have to. It's so cool,
I know.
dude. It's so good. What is with World of Darkness and having the like my favorite versions of like vampires, werewolves, and mages? I think all three of them in any other setting a little lame. In World of Darkness, they're so cool.
It's because they're actually like well thought out and have
It's
actually
crazy.
deep communities and stuff like that.
I love the technocracy so much in Mage. They're so cool. And also they suck so hard.
Yep. And y'all know me. I'll be releasing some more content. I don't know. I'm still in a weird place if I don't know what to do with Pathfinder content as of right now. I'm sure there's still a lot of things I could talk about. I just like it sucks that one of my main series that I released regularly so I could go back and easily do that content kinda is in a little rough place right now due to the remaster. So I might just have another like tabletop chat thing tomorrow. But next week for sure, new witch build using new remaster witch stuff. And as well, we'll probably be doing more Lancer content. I want to get back to 2 Lancer videos a week just because Lancer is really fun, and I know people are getting rabid about their particularly favorite mix. So I
You can
want
just
to.
name him at that point, you know? Because we know
There's
one
more
guy is
than
very
one.
excited.
Thank
That's
you.
fair. That's fair. I just know Monarch has been said a lot.
Monarch has been said a lot on the channel. Yeah, it's true. And a lot of people are very interested in the Caliban though. So
The Caliban's great.
my cat has knocked things over again. But that is gonna be it for us today. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for those who stay up to watch us late into the night. I know Critical Role is getting started here, so go check out the Kindle Obscure stuff if you're interested there, or check out my video in which you'll learn everything you need to know about the system, because I think it's a pretty comprehensive video, honestly. But that's gonna be it for us. So we're gonna go ahead and say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.